took him pizza make up 90% of his diet. And all of us, all of his friends were like, dude, we all have jobs. We'll take you for dinner anywhere you want to go. Like, can we please not do this? And he's like, no, I want pizza. And, so there was no negotiating with him. And that Saturday night, there we are. And they've got, the place is packed. They've got 6 of us just packed into a booth for 4. And I got there like 10 passively aggressive minutes late. And just in time to catch Brian as he was in the middle of ordering 2 extra large, 4 cheese, every single meat in existence. I mean, like bacon, meatballs, sausage, pepperoni, everything just short of veal. He was getting slopped on top of these pizzas. And finally, like the waiter leaves, I sit down. And as soon as I sit down, like these 2 large cheese pizzas were like dropped on the table in front of us. And I'm like, well, what's this? And Brian says, oh, that's cheese bread. It's an appetizer. And I'm like, really? Like, sitting on the table in front of me were these 2 large circular pieces of dough. They'd been covered with sauce and cheese, and they'd been baked. Pizza, right? And I look at him, and I'm just, dude, you ordered a pizza appetizer for a pizza dinner. And he's like, no. It's cheese bread. It's different. And then at that point, like Brian and his girlfriend, they start lecturing me on the fundamental differences that separate pizza from cheese bread, of which there aren't any. It is literally the exact same food. And even better, like they were already eating mozzarella sticks and garlic bread, which when you think about that, all that is deconstructed pizza, right? It was nuts. And I'm looking at them like, guys, you were going 3 deep on pizza. And they're like, no, we're not. It's different. I'm like, no, it's not. And I'll tell you, like, I love my friends dearly. Like, they're great people. But this was by far like the stupidest argument I'd ever been involved in my life, right? And they're like, it's different. No, just back and forth. And it was in the middle of this nonsense that this woman at the next booth starts screaming, help, my husband. And we look over, and there's this guy in the next booth, and he's like slumped over, and he's not moving. And immediately the entire restaurant just jumps up, and people are screaming, call 911, call 911. And this booth full of construction worker guys run over, and they're screaming, he's choking. And they grab the guy, and they rip him out of the booth, and they go to do the Heimlich maneuver on him, and he just collapses right at my feet. And then it's worse. Like the wife is screaming and crying, and the guys are like, get him. So I reach down and I grab the guy by his belt and I pick him up and I lift him up, and this other guy wraps his arms around him and starts doing what he thinks is the Heimlich maneuver, right? But the fact is, it's like there's technique involved when you do that. You can't just wrap your arms around somebody and start humping them, which is exactly what this knuckle dragger was doing. And it's obviously not working, but the thing was, it didn't matter because the guy wasn't choking. He was unconscious, his skin was gray, and he was just dead weight in my arms. It was a heart attack. And I knew that because I'd been through it before with my father. And this guy, he was young. He was in his 40s, and he was just a guy who was out to dinner with his wife on a Saturday night. And I've got him pressed up right against me, and I'm in his ear, and I'm going, don't die, don't die, don't die, and I'm just like praying, like, God, I hope the paramedics are on their way, and that's when, I hear one of the construction guys just starts yelling, everybody back, and I look up, and all of a sudden, this guy just reels back and goes, wham, and punches the heart attack guy as hard as he can right in the chest. And the entire restaurant just stops. We're like, what the hell just happened, right? I mean, this guy's just wailing on him like, wham, wham, wham. Like, who does that, right? Who looks at a guy having a heart attack and thinks, let's kick his ass, right? Like, who does that? I'll tell you who does it. You know what? Somebody who really loves hitting people. And as far as the heart attack guy goes, like, how freaking bad does your karma have to be that you're dying of a heart attack and some guy decides to kick your ass on the way out, right? It was insane. And now I'm really yelling at the guy. I'm like, please don't die. Please don't die. Because if he does, I don't know. Like, am I going to be an accomplice to murder? I don't know. But this is just, it's awful because the wife, now she's just screaming and she's crying and we can hear sirens, thank God. And I'm like, now I hope there's no cops with them because she's still hitting him. It's just like pow, pow, pow. And I'm holding the guy, right? And the sirens are getting loud and the paramedics are rushing in. And like just as soon as the paramedics get in the room, I feel this like vroom. And I feel the life force rush back into this guy's body. And his eyes pop open. And everybody screams. You know, it worked. It freaking worked. I called a buddy of mine who's a doctor. I called him like the next day. I'm like, dude, this just happened. I told him everything. And he's like, yeah, that shouldn't have worked. Right? Like medically, no way. But the thing was, it did. It worked. And he was alive. And the whole restaurant is just screaming and cheering. And the paramedics grabbed the guy. And they lay him down on the gurney, and they're like, get away, this guy's having a heart attack. And they get to work, like IVs, nitrous, oxygen, and they start working on him. And the guy, he's like rubbing his chest, and he's got this totally bewildered look on his face, like, what is wrong? Why am I in so much pain? I'm like, yeah, why? Nobody tell him why he's like in so much pain. And they rush him out to the hospital, and they get going. And then the next thing, it's like, we're all just left there standing, right? And Mr. I Love Hitting People is standing there. He's got his fist in the air. He's surrounded by people. Just like the whole restaurant is around him. And they're patting him on the back. And they're cheering. And they're congratulating him. And, I mean, you could see it in his eyes. He was beaming. And I got to tell you, it was the worst thing ever. This psychopath who loves hitting people so much that, his first instinct is to beat the crap out of a dying man, right? This guy who doesn't need any more encouragement when it comes to hitting people now believes his fists have the healing powers of Jesus, right? I mean, this is horrible. This guy, for the rest of his life, is going to be walking around like this guy is a lethal weapon, and he's going to be walking around thinking that he has the power to give life, that he is the Jesus fist.
Yo, you know the fact is, there's nothing really left after I go and pay my taxes. I couldn't believe it when I finally clicked the truth about how deep I'm really getting this. Uncle Sam bends me over with no lube every April, and I'm proud to be an American, but I'm getting really hateful. Billionaires and losers both get their asses bailed out, and I'm stuck in the middle like a sucker giving handouts. So I'll give you leech on the welfare line. I'm busting my ass every day for every last damn dime, and nobody in my life has ever handed me nothing. So now I want that all back, and I ain't even bluffing. This is so tough, and I want mine. I want to take it off the leash on the welfare line, and all the fat motherfuckers that are getting bailed out. I'll be up something, and I want that now. This is so tough, and I want mine. I want to take it off the leash on the welfare line. Yeah, times are hard, but we can all get by. Just think some of you are gonna have to die.
USA Headline News. I'm Ron Taylor. President Obama is ordering some changes to the government's hostage policy.
Today, I'm formally issuing a new presidential policy directive to improve how we work to bring home American hostages and how we support their families.
Families of overseas kidnapped victims will not be threatened with prosecution for trying to pay ransoms. Speaking at the White House, Obama said what families go through when their loved ones are kidnapped is an, quote, unrelenting nightmare. He said the terrorist threat is evolving and noted that the government policies must change as well. Funerals began today for the 9 people killed in a historic Charleston, South Carolina church last week. City officials are planning to keep protesters from disrupting the memorial services. Charleston officials passed an ordinance earlier this week requiring protesters to stay at least 300 feet away from funeral services. New York State Police say a correctional officer charged in connection with the escape of 2 inmates is pleading not guilty. Gene Palmer is accused of taking meat containing tools to convicted killers Richard Matt and David Sweat at the prison in upstate New York. This is USA Headline News.
You're getting very sleepy.
Sleepy.
You're no longer afraid of bunnies.
Bunnies.
You'll join my rewards program.
I'll join your... Wait, what?
50% off your 5th session.
Huh?
Focus on the value.
Value.
How about a rewards program you'll actually use every day? Finally, there's Plenty. Earn points at one place and use them at another. Sign up today at plentywithani.com for access to offers worth over $100 in savings. There's Plenty together. Terms and conditions apply.
Want a more colorful summer? Ask Sherwin-Williams and save 30% on paints and stains during the Great Summer Painting Party, June 21st through July 6th. With colors like Beach House, Julep, and Fireworks, summer never looked better. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store and save 30% today. Find your nearest store at sherwinwilliams.com/sale. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
News from the NBA, where Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kevin Love has decided to opt out of the final year of his contract to become a free agent. Love is expected to re-sign with the Cavaliers, but he can now hear offers from other teams. In his first season in Cleveland, he averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds in 75 games. The Portland Trail Blazers have reportedly agreed to trade forward Nicholas Batum to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for forward Noah Vonleh and guard Gerald Henderson. In the NHL, Montreal Canadiens goalie Carey Price wins the Hart Trophy as league MVP. In college baseball, it was the third and deciding game of the College World Series. Virginia knocked off defending national champion Vanderbilt 4-2. The Cavaliers win their first ever NCAA title in baseball. In Major League action, the Nationals walk off with a 2-1 win over the Braves, while the Dodgers beat the Cubs in Chicago 5-2. Cardinals over the Marlins 6-1. In that loss, Miami slugger Giancarlo Stanton hit his Major League leading 27th home run of the year. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Def Leppard. 1987's Hysteria blasted Def Leppard even further into the success stratosphere. Their next studio album, Adrenalize, reached #1 on the Billboard 200 and UK albums chart. The 1993 follow-up, Retroactive, contained the acoustic hit song, Two Steps Behind.
That it only takes a minute of your precious time. Turn around, I'll be 2 steps behind.
The band powered on through the new decade with multiple successful tours, and in 2008, Songs for the Sparkle Lounge went to #5 on the Billboard 200, while also reaching #10 on the UK albums chart. As one of the world's best-selling musical artists, Def Leppard has sold more than 65 million albums worldwide, and Pyromania and Hysteria have both been awarded RIAA Diamond certification. Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Def Leppard and all your favorite artists.
Now, this week's top TV streams.
All right, what is it you guys have been watching this week? Kicking off the countdown at #10. Yes, we love the drama. It's The Bachelorette. At #9 is American Odyssey. Real Housewives. It's represented twice on the countdown this week, starting with #8, The Real Housewives of Orange County. At #7 is Salem, and back, The Real Housewives of New York. That's at #6 this week. Hannibal is at #5, just in case, you're sick of reality and you want to watch a show about a guy eating other people. Mistresses is at #4. At #3, yeah, you guys still turn it on all the time. Pretty Little Liars. Rich Kids of Beverly Hills is at #2. And at #1, a show that is definitely on my to-do list, Orphan Black. All right, guys, that's what you've been watching. I'll catch you next week.
That's this week's top TV streams.
Go ahead, favorite the show, and enjoy AD on the go. iHeartRadio presents AD.
Welcome to the show if you're just getting here. If you missed it, check out the podcast. Sam Firestein is here. Unbelievably gifted storyteller, television producer, writer, and a guy who just regaled us of a tale of the pizza party of death. First and foremost, great story. Had me on the edge of my seat, as you always do. But You went to your friend's birthday party and told him he couldn't eat pizza. This is like, and Sam's like a good, kind, benevolent person. One of the best people I've ever met, I think. And it's the LA-ness of it all. It's like the LA-ness of it all. It's like